you know, at Prime, how they say there's no better place and there's nowhere else that you'll make any kind of money. Guys, look, I'm telling you the truth. Every single trucking company out there guarantees you $1,000 take home as long as you want to work. That's it. As a company driver, you should be making anywhere from $1,300 to $1,600 a week. It's companies like Melton, like all these major companies, Melton, Prime, everything. Guys, look at your hours that you're putting in. You put in 70 hours a week, right? To bring home a $1,200 paycheck. You see what I'm saying? It makes no sense to me. And the miles that you put on, that's crazy. I get paid per load, and the average amount of hours that I work per week is 50 to 60 because I'm home every weekend. So, and guys, that's not drive time. That's a little bit of work time because we haul cranes and we haul equipment and we do all that kind of stuff. So there's things that we assemble and disassemble as well. And we get some crazy loads sometimes. So it might take an hour and a half to chain some of this equipment down. Because you're like scratching your head going, well, how do I tie this down? And then, you know, for instance, like hauling helicopters or airplanes and stuff like that. We've hauled those things, and they're not fun. They're not fun. They pay great, but they are not fun to strap down. They are not fun, any of that. And it's all straps, guys, because all that stuff is so fragile. You cannot over tighten a bit, because one piece of sheet metal on that airplane gets a crease in it is expensive. But going back to the subject, get on your P's and Q's, guys. Understand who your rights and who your dispatcher really is. Your dispatcher was trained to push you and push you and push you. You got to learn to say no. And that's all it is. I got a daughter at home who's the coolest thing in the world. I got a son at home. He's the coolest thing in the world to me. And when they both sit there and they're begging me for things, it's hard to tell them no. But when my dispatcher is sitting there begging me to do something that I can't do because of the time or something like that, I'm done. You know I've talked about running paper logs and stuff. And guys, there's nothing wrong with running outlaw to me. Because if you're willing to put the time in and the effort, who is anybody out there to tell you no? Right? If you read books like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone, or let's talk about all these from the bottom to the tops, you know what I mean? That come from the ground up. They all sit there and they tell you, hey, look, there's 24 hours in a day. You got to learn to utilize that time. People who sleep are broke people. So guys, the reason why I hustled my butt off is because I bought a house. I bought my wife a car. I bought all kinds of stuff. And I got it when it was in the wintertime. So that I know in the wintertime, when the wintertime comes, I can still make my payments. Don't buy big stuff like that in the summertime when you're doing flatbed, because then you can't make your payments in the winter. When you start taking your pay stub in and they say, okay, your debt to income ratio is this, in the summertime, wintertime doing flatbed, you should be taking home as a company driver, $8,000 to $1,000 a week. In the summertime, that should double. $1,600, $2,000. That's no joke. You know, guys, I think it's important to understand your place as a student. You may be naive to driving the truck, but don't be naive to your rights as a person or as a student or as a driver. A lot of companies take advantage of drivers that only been driving for a year or 6 months. They take advantage of all of that because you don't have that experience to tell them no, and they can get away with stuff with you. And then when you get screwed, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Right? Lucky for me, I got a cool dispatcher who's got my back. But at Prime, I didn't have a cool dispatcher who had my back. He watched his own back. That was it. And they get fined $500 if you quit your dispatcher. If you fire your dispatcher, that's a $500 fine from your dispatcher. And they don't like it when you quit them. So, when I left Prime, I showed everything to Jim and Flatbed. They gave me the money for my rent. They gave me the money for all my back pay. And they paid me the 1,500 miles deadhead from Fontana, from their drop yard in Fontana to Springfield, Missouri. They paid me that. And that's the truth. There's a driver by the name of Rob Williams, and he lives in Texas, so he does a lot of Texas regional. But he'll tell you, because I was talking to him the whole time this was going on, and I told him that I'm deadheading 1,500 miles because I took all my equipment off the truck. The only thing I had on that truck was my wind-up and my straps. And you know what they tried to give me? Coils. They tried to give me coils. And I looked at him and I said, dude, I can't take coils. All I got is straps. And they said, well, you didn't tell me that. And I said, look at the Qualcomm. I just told you that yesterday. That I'm coming back on the truck with only straps. That's it. Because I'm turning my truck in. And when you show them on the Qualcomm, they're like, oh, I forgot. Ha 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 ha. And that's what he put on there. I said, no, you didn't. You were trying to screw me out of getting back to Missouri. I said, either way, and this is what I told him. I said, Joey, either way, I don't need your permission, bro, to deadhead back. I already quit. I'm just not abandoning your truck anywhere. So you guys want me to bring it back to Springfield? That's where it goes. Next thing I know is Jim's on the phone. He's giving me a call. James, what's going on? I said, read the Qualcomm, bro. Read the Qualcomm. So he read the Qualcomm. He goes, you can't say stuff like that. I said, the hell I can't. I said, he's trying to retaliate against me for denying a load. And I said, you could see that the past 3 weeks I was starving because I didn't want to train. I said, you know what? He's like, I don't understand why you do that. That affects his pay. I said, not enough. I said, I get it. They take out $100 or something like that, but that ain't nothing. Those dispatchers make $100,000 a year. And don't let anybody tell you that they don't, bro. If anybody's sitting there telling you that there's no way those dispatchers make $100,000 a year, they are a liar, bro. Because I sat there and I listened to Brian and the other dude in Salt Lake City. These two dispatchers were complaining about who made more money on the reefer side or on the flatbed side. And the flatbed dispatcher made $86,000 the year before. Brian made $110,000 the year before. So don't tell me that there's no way they'd have to have 100 trucks on their board. No, bro. That is not how it works. That's not how it works. They get paid bank, all right? Joey himself told me that he's made over $82,000 as a dispatcher there at Prime. So these $50,000 a year crap, maybe for these guys that just come in, guys, but you can go anywhere and make 50 grand a year. What is that? I don't know, man. Those guys, your dispatcher is middle management, right? So they are your manager. Okay? That's what they're supposed to be. And then there's upper management. But see, their entire foundation is built on you. You are the true manager of this whole thing. You manage what goes. They tell you, yeah, go pick up this load. But if the load's unsafe, why are you going to haul it? Why are you going to haul an unsafe load? Because your dispatcher told you to? Screw that, man. Right now, I feel like I'm just ranting, guys, but once you realize about these companies, right, and all these little things that they do to make it seem like they're going to please you. Prime says their driver is their biggest asset. And that's all you are, guys. You're an asset. Because they hit you with that school bill, right? And all this kind of stuff. You come in, you buy all that crap out of their little store, right? You buy a microwave from them that doesn't even heat up food right. You buy a refrigerator that's $700. You know, when you can actually get one from Freightliner for like $450 to $500. You know what I'm saying? They're making money off of you. How low do you have to go as a person? That's like me making money off my son or my daughter or my family. You see what I'm saying? That's how I see it. Like, I'm hustling my kids so I can kick back in my mansion. That makes no sense to me. That's corporate America, bro. That is corporate America. So, guys, get on your P's and Q's. Understand who you are as a driver. When they say crap falls downhill, that's you. You're downhill. Because the truth is when anybody says anything, right? They tell you to do something and it ain't on that Qualcomm. For instance, I was picking up a load in Visalia. I think it was from Blue Scope Steel, and it was going up to Tacoma, Washington. It was late at night. Okay? I had 3 hours left on my clock. I was sitting at the Pilot right down the road from Blue Scope. And the night dispatcher calls me up. He goes, "Hey, where are you at?" I said, "You told me to forget about the load and to go to the Pilot." He says, "No, I didn't. I never said that." I said, "Bro, read the Qualcomm." He goes, "Oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't know that. I need you to go down there and pick the load up." I said, "Dude, I'm out of hours." I said, unless they plan on having me sleep there, I'm done." "Well, you got 2 to 3 hours left." I said, I know what I got left. But that's how long it's going to take them to load me. It's in the middle of the night. They got one forklift driver. They're going to do it a piece at a time. Usually there's 2, and they just pick up the whole unit and drop it on your trailer. And then you got to strap it down. But you got to gut wrap it. You got to do all kinds of stuff. You got to put softeners on it, everything. So, this is what I mean, man. You have to be ahead of the game. Think preventative, right? Think preventative. So before your dispatcher could say anything stupid, you've already got it planned out that he's going to say something stupid. Okay? You're already set up for that. You got to be smarter than they are. And to tell you the truth, bro, they ain't that smart. Because they're just as ignorant as you are when it comes to this stuff. So once you start throwing all that stuff in their face, they have nothing to do but pay up. And that's the truth. All right, guys. Talk to you later.